on the book of face. Yeah, I know where to go. There's a man over there into the music scene, showing lots of love for the community. With great advice, I know who I should go see. So Around Town Radio Show.
Hey, everybody. Welcome. It is Hot Topic Tuesday. Welcome to a Tuesday here from the All Around Town Radio Studios in beautiful downtown Springboro, Ohio. Glad to have you with us today. And without any further, man, I got to get my special co-host on with me today. Karis is on special assignment, so maybe I won't have to put this up the entire time. You never know. But my special guest today, welcome to the program, the one, the only rock star, Miss Jackie. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm doing so good. You might want to keep that parental advisory.
Should I keep it close at hand? All right, we'll flash it on there if we have to. But yeah, she's got guests already.
My son, as soon as we get on, I told you it was going to happen. Say hi, Titan.
Say hi. Hi. How are you?
Now get out. Go.
He is so cute. So cute. I love special guests like that just popping in. It's usually dogs when it's Karis, though. So, you know, he's a little, I shouldn't say cute or Karis will kill me.
Close the door. Close the door. Thank you.
Close the door.
Thank you.
There we go. Welcome, everybody, to the program today. We're going to have a great time. It's Hot Topic Tuesday. And I've got the one and only, like I said, rock star Miss Jackie with me. If you've never seen her sing or play, you've missed out. Shameless plug. I like that.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? Are you doing all right?
Oh, yeah. I'm doing great. How about you, man?
I'm doing good. You had a big St. Patty's weekend. You sang your butt off. Anytime you get on stage, you put 110% into it. And that's what I love about you. And I'm honored to have you as a special co-host today. Like we said, Karis is on special assignment. She'll be back next week. And she's got a topic already she's fired up about. So next week we'll have her topic on. But today we're going to talk about something really I think everybody's going to enjoy. And that is, let's talk about genre swapping and people who jump from one genre to the other and all that. You kind of brought it up with me, and I thought that's a killer idea. Let's talk about it. What's your view on this, and how do you lead this to a discussion today?
Well, I mean, it's probably really clear, like already how I feel about the subject because of the wide variety of music that we play when we play a set. And I've got my two different eye makeups on in the spirit of multi-genres. You know what I mean? You know, you can. I definitely think that there's been a lot of hate, though, recently about certain people playing certain types of music. And and I mean, we're going to get into all that. So
there's a lot of hate in all kinds of the music world lately, but that's one that I was looking at a thread today that just was fired up over Taylor Swift. You either love her or you hate her, man. It was like craziness. And all these people dogging on her, and I'm thinking, I hate to say it, but she could buy you. I mean, but yet she's not that kind of person. You know, it seems like on the surface, she seems to be really generous and cool, you know? So why dog on her? She switched from country to pop. We know that. And that's where she's become a phenomenon. I mean, I said something on the show the other day that she was the second Beatles in the United States. I mean, and boy, did I get a lot of hate mail, but she is. I mean, $1 billion tour. I mean, grossing $1 billion.
The industry itself, you know what I mean? The amount of letdowns that we had during the COVID time and amount of bands that just like took a dirt nap, you know what I mean? That like we're done after COVID was astronomical. So like to see it bounce back in that way, you can't as a musician and a music lover hate on that fact, you know, and it might be. And actually, my husband and I disagree on Taylor Swift. He is a true punk, you know, as Chase is. So he thinks, you know, she was bred from money and had like different venues that were opened to her because she had money. And to me, I'm just a shameless music consumer, which means like it doesn't matter to me where you came from, what you did, as long as the art is good. And I might get a lot of hate for that because, I mean, aside from like R. Kelly's like outright, like I can't listen to R. Kelly anymore. His name has been permanently like shut down in my brain as something that I can even enjoy. But like other than that, like I'll still listen to like Michael and Bobby Brown and like stuff like that, knowing what they went through and like if they're pieces of, you know, crap, it doesn't really make a difference for me because like I said, I enjoy the art. So
well, you know, there's a lot of hate going on right now over this new Beyonce song that went country too. And I mean, I get it. I see people that say, you know, country is, you know, and there's a lot of country artists that aren't country today. And I think that's part of the problem is people are hating on the countryside because of so many people. I refer to it as tractor rap sometimes because these guys come out of the city. They've never ridden a tractor in their life, but they talk about their truck, their tractor, their stuff. You know, it's commercial music market.
You really got to search for that kind of country, though, that old school country. Like it's hard to find, you know, like the Hanks and the Willies. They are still out there. Like new people are still out there doing that thing, but you really got to search for it because yeah, it's more profitable to be a glam cowboy anymore.
Don't you think it has to do too with the independents, like Cody Jinks and people like that who just slay it? I mean, in the country side of things, and they're not signed to all these record labels telling them how to dress, how to talk, how to what words to put in their songs and all that.
Really, yep, what it comes down to.
You know, it's music. I think when you write your own music and you say, this is my heart, this is my feelings, and you put it out there. Sometimes people don't like it, sometimes people do, but you know, the people that hate on people for this, and Taylor Swift is a perfect example of that glam type pop star image. I mean, she's got every little girl in a stadium of 80,000 singing every word to every song. So she's got to be doing some right, you know?
Yeah,
don't you wish you had that? I mean, you know,
my Facebook post where I watched the Eras tour. Like, I'm not going to spend $250 because I got 2 kids. Like, you know, I can't afford to ball out like that at a Taylor Swift show. But I definitely watched the concert that just got released, and it was phenomenal. Like it was phenomenal. The way they like presented everything, the staging, the effects, the way they like blended one era of music to the next. It was just like, it was probably worth every bit of $250 per ticket that people were paying for them.
Heck yes. I mean, I've paid $250 to see one artist. I mean, and just for an hour, and she played for like 3 hours and all that. I mean, it's worth the money. If it puts smiles on your kid's face and that's what you want to spend your money on, then do it. Go to it. You know, it's funny to see all the moms in the audience at that Eras tour and the dads singing along too. You know, I mean, they're having it just as good fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So she's an example of switching genres, and Beyonce switched genres, right? She switched and did a country album. And
I want to say something about that real quick. The success level has got to be there, you know, like Taylor was successful as a country artist, and then she was able to do pop, and then she was able to put out a folk album and then do all of these things because she had money, you know. So you might have to like stay in your lane longer if you don't have money to explore, or if you are like tied down to what your people say, you know, the place where you're signed. So I think there's a little bit of that. Like if you're not like making a whole bunch of money for your label, the label is less likely to tell you, oh, sure, go ahead, make yourself a country album. You know what I mean? So I think there's a little bit of that going on too.
What do you think about local artists doing that? Let's get into that for a minute, because I've seen, and I'm going to throw out a couple examples. I won't ever use names, but I've seen some bands that are really rock oriented, and they tried to dive into the countryside, and it just didn't work for me. And it was like they almost didn't take it serious, but you know, we got to play Wagon Wheel tonight because everybody else is playing it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it did not work. So that's where I tend to think, stay in your lane a little bit till you've proved yourself, and until your fans, and there are fans out there. I mean, we call them friends, followers, fans, whatever. They're the people that drive your show. And if you start switching what you're doing, does it cut people from coming to your show? Do you know you change your setup a lot?
Yeah.
I mean, you do.
Yeah, I mean,
Does it
I
ever
didn't play
drive anybody away?
I didn't play country for the first, like, 5 years as, like, I'm too new metal for country, I'm too rock and roll for country, but I didn't really understand who I was kidding in that moment. Like, I grew up with Garth Brooks. Yeah, oh my gosh, Aaron Thomas talking about Garth Brooks and Chris Gaines. That was one of the things that I wanted to pull up and talk about because that is so funny. And I think that the gatekeeping of like genre bending is definitely more noticeable in that country genre. You know what I mean? So I think that, Chris Gaines, who was Garth Brooks' like alter ego so he could make rock,
Right.
I think that was really fitting of his time because nobody was going to let him leave his little country box. And then it just seemed very bizarre that he like did all this and put the wig on and like the skinny jeans. So funny to me. But
That was
nowadays,
strange. It was,
yeah,
but
it was so strange. And he's like, I'm not Garth Brooks. Who are you kidding? You are Garth Brooks in a wig.
let's take a minute here and say hi to some people that are checking in. Hi, Skip from Liars for Hire. Gina McCann is with us today. Hi, Gina.
I love you, Gina.
Good to see you. Hi, Michelle. How are you? We got Erica in the house. Jeff Morris, thank you for being here. Glenn checking in on the YouTube channel. He says last live show he gets to see, he's going to work where he's not going to be able to see us live, but thank you, Glenn, for your support always. Jimmy Kilroy, how are you, buddy? Chris Lee, Rick Piper from Rockstar is here. He says, what's shaking, Miss Jackie?
Hi.
Those guys from
Gosh,
Rockstar.
all our friends are in here. This is what
Our
you get to do all the time. Look at that. Toy
Ed
Hop,
Sawicki,
Mickey Evans.
Ditch.
Hey.
Jamie Minnick in the house. What's up, Jamie? And there's Aaron. How you doing, Aaron? Thank you for that. Aaron, you had some great comments on our page today. Thank you for those. I appreciate it very much. And yeah. Van Rips, he says. And you do. And that's one thing I love about you too, is your multi-genre set list, Miss Jackie. You do throw a lot of songs in that are and many of them are rock oriented and all that, but it's even different styles of rock you throw in, I think. And that is what's so appealing about your band. And you do it in a high energy format. There's not a lot of downtime in the Miss Jackie band when you're up there on stage, is there?
There's really not. It's bad because we have limited ourselves to no more than one slow song per set, which means one slow dance song, one, not even like a rock ballad. Like if there's too many rock ballads in a set, we're like, nope, replace it with something that is more upbeat so that we can keep and like we've got it down to a formula. It's really annoying, and I could go into that for a whole nother show, honestly, about the formulation of a multi-genre set list in which to keep the crowd like fully captivated is, able to be done. And it's taken years to figure that out, but I swear I've got it down now. And, but yeah, I mean, the multi-genre thing is so real. I just added a Limp Bizkit tune, which is hysterical to me. But
Really?
we also play the Charlie Daniels Devil Went Down to Georgia. We just added that as well. So we're learning everything all the time.
Yeah, and you can go from like you said, and you kind of threw me there for a minute. I thought I was sitting with Karis for a minute when you said one slow song a set. That's kind of like her steadfast rule with bands, but it does work.
It really? I didn't know that was her rule. That's so funny.
She's not into slow music. Trust me. She wants to be high energy all night and party. And you pay the toll for that, Miss Jackie, when you sing all weekend like you did over St. Patty's Day. How many days did it take you to get that voice back into normal?
By Thursday, I was able to sing in my lower registers. But I'm still recovering and trying to hit some of my higher notes. And it honestly, it would have been not as bad if the people at the Bell and the Bear did not hurt me as much as they do on St. Patrick's Day. I'm telling you, I didn't order a single drink for myself. Okay. They just kept bringing them.
Yeah, I was
Brandon's one of
there.
them. I know
I
Mickey's
was
in
there the
here.
other night and had several cocktails and went to pay my tab, and none of them were on there. And I was like, "Oh, thank you, friends. Appreciate that." But
Yeah.
Bob
Please.
Klein, that's a great thing. I remember Bob Klein's band was playing in Cincinnati in Newport the same night as Taylor Swift. He says, "Big mistake." He says, "Never take on Tay Tay." Not to mention the traffic or any of that to get
I
people to
can't
your
even
show.
imagine. Yeah.
It was she took over Cincinnati. She did.
Yeah.
And I don't want to turn this into the Taylor Swift show, but she's a perfect example of a crossover artist who's made well with it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
are there any others you can think of besides the Beyonce thing going on right now, but any others that you want to talk about today?
Well, the we were just talking about the Garth Brooks, Chris Gaines thing. Yeah, we were just talking about that. And I do want to say, like, I feel like it was not as acceptable until like millennials got to be about age. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't okay for anybody to genre swift and or genre swift, genre switch
Whoa, there you go.
until the internet. You know what I mean? Until the internet made like SoundCloud rappers take samples from any old, tune. And there was a little bit of it going on. I shouldn't say that. Like there's merging always of the genres. So really this topic might be just like moot point because the genres are always blending and evolving because of an influence of another genre. And country music wouldn't exist if it weren't for like the blues or, there's all kinds of examples like that. So
Yeah, and there's really one genre that I think has stayed pretty hardcore steadfast, and that's kind of metal. I mean, there are some bands that have,
they're scary. Okay, it's because they're scary.
but a lot of the metal band, people that are into metal stay pretty true to metal. And like Dewey said, he thinks some of Taylor's folk albums were really good. He said, but don't tell his metal friends because it's like riding a moped. They're fun to ride, but you don't want two friends to see on one. It's kind of that kind of thing. People get embarrassed about being pop. Like you were talking to me before the show, some guys get embarrassed about saying, "Oh, I like pop music."
No, you'll never hear that come out of. I swear, I've never heard any guy. What's your favorite genre of music? Oh, rock and roll. I really like prog rock. I like metal. I like, it's never. I'm really into Madonna. I'm really into like Bananarama.
Oh, you get your man card taken away if that happens. That's
true.
When you see that. But talking about Garth and Chris Gaines, I got one thing for this. I mean, this is my feeling about Garth being Chris Gaines. That was an epic failure on his part.
An epic failure. I do think that he was trying to do something that was like ahead of time, but like just put it out under your name, man. Like just put it out under your name. Why wouldn't you just tell everybody instead of putting on a weird wig and like acting like you're, I was gonna do that actually. I had this whole idea that I was gonna put on this wig and do like an emo scene night, and we were gonna call it Josie Holly, and I was gonna be this other person, and I was like, we're gonna do the Chris Gaines thing. Anyway, it was a bad idea.
Let's not dog on wigs too hard right now because Toy Hobbs has joined the show. Hi, Toy from Rockstar. Speaking of wigs, we love them. And Jim McCarthy, how are you? Let me say hi to Rick here. Mickey Evans from Sweet Sister Mercy. You heard their theme song here just a few minutes ago. Kenny Cunningham in the house. How are you? Thanks for being here. Man, look at all these people. Who else we got? Kevin Tolles is here. He's a Bell and the Bear faithful as well. Steve Short and Yo-Yo Miss Jackie from Mickey. Look at all these people. Jason Hicks.
Oh, they're just having a good time.
A lot of love here. Steve Stein. Stephen Bell from Don't Tell Steve. He's the Steve and Don't Tell Steve.
Mm-hmm.
And he said you killed it. St. Patrick's played a ton of different genres. Yes, he got to run sound for you there, didn't he?
He's so sweet too. I like him a lot. And Aaron, this man, he actually, I love the fact that Aaron is in DV8 now because I think he's brought a little bit of that to DV8. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of that genre bending, that metal aspect of it.
A little edgier, I think, sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Hi, Colleen. She says, we do one or two slow songs per set too to get people on the dance floor. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, power ballads too from the 80s work really well. A lot of times people love those songs,
I do love to put like a slow jam right after a huge bunch of like, I noticed people are like dancing really hard. Put that slow jam in there so that they can catch their breath. Me, I can catch my breath. We can go back to, doing the things.
One of my favorite moments was, I think it was the Women Who Rock last year. Was it 2 years ago when you were pregnant and you were on stage?
Yes, it was. It was 2 years ago. Yep. And I wore a butterfly crop top and legging set. And I don't know what I was thinking because I was looking at those pictures. I thought I didn't look that pregnant. No, I was very
I
pregnant.
tell you, that was an epic moment. And when you were screaming, killing in the name and all that, and the baby is in there bouncing around, I'm thinking, this kid's coming out a rock star. That's all there is to it.
She is a rock star too. She is the best, man. When I tell you she's the best kid.
That was a great moment.
So much unlucky with that. Like they're like, oh, number 2's always the worst one. No, she is better than my 4-year-old. Like
we're getting some other comments here. Shania Dewey saying she did come on over, went pop, and in turn went diamond. Yep. And then Darius Rucker, that's a great one we didn't mention, but yeah, he's crossed over into becoming, from Hootie to.
Oh yeah, he's full country now, man.
Yep. And his cover of Wagon Wheel, I mean, everybody hating on Wagon Wheel, but it killed it. I mean, he did well with that and all that. Old Crow Medicine Show song.
Thank you.
Your haircut looks adorable. How about that? Thank you for the fashion.
I messed it up. But you were asking about other artists that had done the gender thing or the genre thing. They one that I can think of is the Machine Gun Kelly. I don't know if you know who Machine Gun Kelly is. He put out a diss response to Eminem, right before he did his pop punk album that he came out with. And I personally like that album. I know that's also going to get some hate on but like I said, I'm a shameless music consumer. I like what I like. I can't help it. And when he did that pop punk album, everybody was talking crap like, oh, Eminem like absolutely destroyed him in this diss track. And that's why he had to go pop punk because he'll never be a rapper again. And like, then he came out with another rap album and it was just something that he was really passionate about. So that's why he did it. But he was already a successful actor and rapper. So like, that's why he could do that. Like we were saying earlier, the success is a factor. And apparently Post Malone is putting out a country album next year or something like that, which like, he's like right there though. I know he came out as like a rapper, like pop guy, but he is really like rock and country influenced, I feel like. So
sure. And it's driven, I think, by the popularity of what's going on in the world. If you look back in time, and this is before your time, but in the disco era, Kiss had a disco song. The Rolling Stones had a disco song. I mean, everybody morphed into that because you wanted your songs played in these clubs where 2,000 people a night were dancing. It was good marketing. And so they morphed into that. And one of the other ones there that, really hits me hard is like Aerosmith, Run DMC, Walk This Way combination when they did that.
I love a mashup, man. I love a mashup.
MTV was brilliant to put that together. And that was just genius. And it became a mega hit, Yeah. And it resurrected Aerosmith a bit because they were faltering at that time. So there's a lot of things I think that go into the minds of artists when they decide to switch teams, so to speak, and get on the other side.
But you might gain some new ones. You know what I mean? Like,
wow, Aaron, that's a big one. Thanks.
Oh yeah.
Let's see what he's got. He said people love different kinds of music. Grain of salt. Some bands are bitter things. Yeah. Aaron's a smart man. He is. And I love to watch Aaron perform on stage. And he's one of those guys that accepts everyone. And I like that. I like that about him as well. Aaron, thank you for those comments, man. What's Toy got to say? Hey, we wear weird wigs, Toy says. We know that. We know that, Toy. I've seen him. But you know what was amazing? He played the Jam at the Bell the other night. He and Rick did. They didn't have their wigs on, and yet they could still play rock and roll. It was amazing to me.
You would have had to send me a video. I don't know if I believe that.
Yes, they did. What do we got here? Ray loves your makeup. Ray Renee does, by the way.
Aww,
and Jennifer,
thank you. And my Jellicle Cat's hair.
That's good, Jellicle Cat. I like it. And you should dress as TJ, is what Ed is saying. That's classic.
You know, if I could like do it, I don't know, man. That's really gonna be a hard one for me. The do-rag, maybe the do-rag look.
I don't. You got to get like a mug of beer. Well, he doesn't drink beer anymore, so you got to get a mug in your hand, and you got to have some cool shades.
More tattoos, cooler tattoos.
Yes. And TJ, he did pull you off on Halloween really well. I will say that he did a great job. So he had pregnant Miss Jackie, and he fit the mold.
I've never ever in my life felt more iconic than when somebody went as me for Halloween. Like that made me feel like I was somebody. I swear to God, it was so great. And the blonde wig, like it totally sent me.
Mike Roberts, thank you for that. That is a perfect example. Thanks, Mike. Jelly Roll, man, he doesn't really fit that country genre at all.
Right. Yeah.
But boy, he's hitting it up with a lot of consumers. Everybody loves him and plays to him. And you look at Aaron Lewis, who left Stained to become the country music singer that he is. And those kind of people out there, people are doing well switching to different genres. They are. And what Mickey's going to wear his stilettos next time. Thank you, Mickey. I want to see that. And Ed said that Halloween was special. It was very special. It was. So local bands, though, we
kind of got off topic.
I know. Is it good or bad? What do you think? I mean, is it good for them to be multi-genre?
It is so hard because not everybody can do multiple genres. Some people are just R&B. Some people are just country, and some people are just rock, and that's fine. And I want to preach to everybody like, oh yeah, do a multi-genre thing, but like maybe if you can't make it into what it originally was, just make it into what you like, or what's going to sound good for you, like we do a couple of covers. Tricky, we actually do Tricky, and we do it a little heavier, like we've got some guitar parts in the background that aren't actually there, and it's how we like to do some of our pop tunes too. We do them real heavy, and we put the chunky guitars in the back. And that's me being a singer, not knowing what I'm talking about. Chunky is a adjective.
Hunky guitars, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it here first.
You know what I'm talking about.
I do. Well, you do put your own spin. You do put your own spin on it, and that's what makes your band popular. Is that you have a style, and everybody knows when you hit the stage, you're going to play some cool stuff. I have some friends in a band called Truck, and they're a country / bluegrassy band, and they do a cover of Madonna's Crazy for You in a bluegrass format that'll just make you happy all day. I love that song.
Now I need you to send me this version, because now I want to play the bluegrass version.
Yeah. It's so cool, and they are really good with it. And Leah said Tricky was great. You guys killed it, by the way.
Thank you.
Megan Miller loves metal versions of pop tunes. Absolutely. And metal versions of metal in the family crosses genres regularly. They do.
Oh, Casey Gomez. I feel like he could do anything. He could do any song and make it into the Casey style. And like, that's just it. I don't feel like I've got that. Some people say that when I'm on stage, it's more chameleon-esque. So like my voice and my tone will adapt with the song. And I'm totally guilty of doing that. But Casey sounds like Casey all the time. And I love that because he's an original artist too. So like that's important when you're an original artist, to be recognizable and to have the things, that make you you.
Thank you, Tom. That's a great statement too. Make music with your own DNA in it. I like that. That's good. And yep. Casey, speaking of Casey, I heard him do a version of the Commodore's Easy. Oh, was it good? It was off the hook good. And you're spot on when you said Casey's voice is always Casey. It's Casey no matter what he's singing, but he puts a spin on these songs that just make it really good. And people love him. They love his band. They're an up and comer. I'm telling you.
One of the judges for Karis's The Voice that's coming up.
Yes, that's going to be fun for her to pull off and
Oh
do.
yeah.
I think that'll be interesting to see some of the players, that people that come in and sing and all that. I think it's a great idea.
Oh
And
yeah.
let's see, TJ did win the best costume contest that night. Yes, he did. And yeah, he's Dewey talking about Crown Watts. There's a band that plays exceptional.
I still have not been able to see Crown Watts out live, and I'm really upset about it. I try my very best to go see like all the bands that are in this area, but because I'm playing so much, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That was a burp. Because I'm playing so much, I've always playing when Crown Watts is playing. So
You got to quit day drinking with the kids around.
I swear to God, this is not vodka. This is just water. I mean,
oh yes.
as far as
And Mickey says they have the DJ B mount. It makes it a little unique for him. And pretty much he's in the mix all night. There you go. That's cool.
Yeah, that's so
and
cool.
Guys, if you have some comments about this topic, we have a little time here. We're looking for a multi-genre type artist and to talk about that. And anybody locally, that might be that way. Look at Mike Roberts throwing all these in here. Rick Kern, Tim Keys, and Blackbone Cat, Rapid Fire, and then the Eagles Project, and all of them well. Yeah, they play rock, they play country, they play it all.
There was a comment on our original post today that I wanted to talk about. Where is it? Let's see if I can find it.
Jennifer Nicole just wants it to be danceable. Thank you.
Oh, it says, a week ago, I would have said branch out for sure after reading an opinion from a country fan about a recent R&B artist making a country album. I look at it differently now. The fan pointed out that country is a way of life, their culture. You can't grow up in a city and just decide to put a country hat or a cowboy hat on and now you are country. I have to say I agree. There's a big difference growing up in coal mining town versus a big city. So yeah, there's a little bit of that going on for sure. Like Chase, like coming back to the Chase point, she's a rich kid. She is just, selling to these people. She's pandering. And there is a lot of that going on in the industry because, connections beget connections where rich people just know rich people. You know what I mean? So it might be harder for somebody who starts out down here to get up here. And that sounds a little bit like jealousy, you know what I mean? So I don't know. I can't agree with it. I can't agree because I think it's a little bit gatekeepery to say like this is our culture. Well, that culture was also established because of another culture that they were influenced by. You know what I mean?
Right. I've known some really upscale white kids that could rap like none other, and yet they didn't grow up in the ghetto. And I mean, people accept them for what they do on stage and all that kind of thing. So I mean, I think that's a little extreme, saying coal mine town versus rich kids or whatever. Money talks, and in Nashville or wherever you're getting a record label deal, your money's going to talk, and you have to sign on to tours and pay money to be on tours now and things like that to get exposure. So people have to understand the music business. And I had an old timer in the rock business who was signed to a record label for years, and he dropped his record label and went independent. And after making millions of dollars in the industry, and he told me something I'll never forget. He says, when you sign to a record label, you lose your identity. And that was his quote to me. And I thought, that's pretty sharp words. I mean, I think you're right, because they tell you how to dress. They tell you what songs you're going to put on your album. They tell you a song that you could have written with your deepest, darkest thoughts. They're like, it sucks. You're not going to put it on the record. And it's like, oh, then you start thinking, he says, that's why I dropped the record label. He goes, I don't make nearly the money now. I'm an independent, but I'm enjoying my musical journey, is what he said. So I thought that's pretty cool.
When you said that just now, it made me think like if somebody is signed to a label and they're in one genre and they want to move to another genre, there's a whole team of people behind this artist and their band that have ran the numbers on whether they can do this and it will make money. You know what I mean? They want you to talk about the fact that it's an outrage that Beyonce made a country tune. And every time you comment on a TikTok that she has that song on, you're going to be making her money and put her name out there. It's free advertisement, I swear. And like some people get so mad and they're like typing on their keyboards about how Beyonce sucks. Well, you're literally just ensuring that they show you more songs with the Beyonce song on it by typing on that TikTok or whatever. And you've just given more money to her by talking about her, you know? So there's a little bit of that.
I'm seeing a whole lot of people here agreeing with what you're saying, though, and multi-genre is cool. I mean, you do it. Yeah. A lot of these bands do it. And the only thing we'll say is practice it before you put it out there, before you get on stage and you look like a train wreck trying to play country when you're a rock band and those kind of things. Practice it. And you want to see something that's exceptional, go to the Bell on Thursday nights and watch the house band who, when you throw a song out and so Jamie Combs says, I've never played it before, let's try it. And the next thing you hear is he slays it like it was, he's played it for 100 years.
He got on stage with me at St. Patrick's Day.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. He probably had a few Jaegers too.
He was so excited that we opened up for him, actually. So I got to see Jamie 2 days in a row. I got to see him at the Bronson Arroyo thing where we did local support, which we haven't done local support in so long. And that was an experience. And then did the Bronson Arroyo thing. And then we saw him on Sunday. He came to our show. But as far as like the practice thing, yes, definitely practice it, but also don't be afraid to like get rid of it. You know what I mean? Like if it's just not clicking with your audience and nobody likes it, ultimately we're here for the people. You know, if the people don't like it and they're leaving and they're like, I'm never going to follow you again, or like, it's really not that extreme. It's really not. But if everybody leaves the dance floor after you play that song, get rid of it. There's a million better songs, and we do that all the time.
Whack it from the set list, people. Don't try to drag it out till it dies an ugly death. Just get rid of it. If it didn't work once, it's probably not going to work again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really what you see. Thank you, Dewey, for that. Benny Hill, thank you for that. He tries to do as many genres as he can. Thank you.
There you go.
And let's take a peek at a few more comments before we have to go today. Chris Lee, he says he agrees with Benny. No boundaries and limits. I like people that like to do all this stuff that's out there. A good friend of ours, Benny Bodine, he plays, everything from Elton John to Queen to, Ozzy. I mean, he throws it all in there. He's kind of cool about that. And what else Colleen got to say here? Colleen, Linda Ronstadt, Elvis, Queen, Carole King. Yeah, that's pretty diverse. It is. Motown. And of course, Mickey says, oh, no, practice. He doesn't believe in practice. Mickey doesn't.
Mickey, we're going to have a philosophical debate about practice. Then.
I think so, too. And Bob Klein says, the money follow the money. Why do you think rockers go country? Why are all the rockers moving to Nashville? Because that's where the money is right now. Mm-hmm. The LA scene is not what it used to be in rock and roll. And man, all the rockers are living in big houses in Nashville and collaborating and doing cool stuff down there. And you see guys playing on country albums that used to play in Tesla and people like that. And I think that's kind of cool. They're intermingling with the masses, so to speak.
It is a huge, massive scene. Huge. And there's a reason why Beyonce wants to get up on in it. There's a reason why Taylor Swift started in it. There's a reason why Post Malone wants to create a country album. And there is something seriously so in your soul about true country music, like the Dolly Partons and the, like I said, the Hank and the Willies, like they just touch you in such a way. And I wouldn't even say Garth Brooks because I grew up on Garth Brooks. I freaking love Garth Brooks, Chris Gaines or no Chris Gaines. But like the nowadays country, you got the Florida Georgia Line who says things like play the Travis Trent above the Tupac, right? Because that's what they're doing. They are, am I allowed to say bastardize? They are bastardizing. I said it. I'm sorry. They're bastardizing a genre to apply to more people. You know what I mean? They are doing the pop and the rock influences with, they call it the metro, yeah, sorry. Thank you. They call it the metro country. You know what I mean? Where they've slap on a pair of skinny jeans and they've never ridden a tractor in their life type thing. But they are the ones that are pushing like play all the genres because they know that they're not real gritty country. You know what I mean? So yeah. Are we ending with a Florida Georgia Line quote? Rest in peace.
I I totally agree that there are artists in every genre that are bastardizing the genre. There are. I mean, there are people that are making a mockery out of it. I think auto-tune has made a mockery out of some music, and that's a whole nother show, but that's just my opinion. People that put songs out that don't have a guitar in them really bother me. And that's just my old man get off my lawn type attitude about it.
Might be a little bit old man get off my lawn. I'm just kidding. But I'm a pop girl, you know what I mean? Like I like pop and I like the metal thing. So, but I can't even say that. Like we don't use backing tracks in our band. We're a fully live show, you know what I mean? And we'll probably always be like that. Just because I don't know, my dad grew me up on Def Leppard and, on the 80s, awesome stuff, 80s awesome hair metal, which, they played it live a million times.
Did you just say that I was an old man? Get off my lawn. Did I hear you say that?
Just a little.
I heard you say that. Well, don't forget, guys. You can follow Miss Jackie on Facebook at Miss Jackie.
Oh, now you make me feel bad.
And on the web at MissJackieBand.com. I know I'm old. You don't have to remind me. All right. I realize that every morning honestly, when the alarm goes off.
You knew who I was talking about when I said Machine Gun Kelly. I think you're okay.
Hey, I went to see the Motley Crue movie, man. I did all that. So
that was so
it was good. It was good. And he played a great, everything's good. He does. And I have, you wouldn't believe the playlist I have. And the people that come to my music trivia know my playlist and they're like, where do you even know this song? And it's like, I like all kinds of music. I like all years of music. Now you get me past about 2015 or so. I'm not real into it anymore. But that's just me. I mean, there's some good artists out there that are putting out great content, and it's good. And I call it content now and not anything else. But that's just my opinion, and I'm entitled to it.
And you are. And the thing that's going to be, the thing that makes you like a fan or the ally of the music scene versus a naysayer is just like, if you don't like it, just keep on scrolling. You don't have to comment. You don't have to add the song to your playlist. No one is forcing it down your throat unless it's U2 and Apple, but that's a different story.
Well, yeah, it comes on your phone. But thank you, Steve, for that. I am going. And Glenn, you said you saw Snoop Dogg in Nashville. I'll tell you right now, I would pay to see Snoop Dogg today. I think he's a great artist and a fantastic performer. And those kind of things. And, when I compared earlier the Beatles to Taylor Swift, I meant it. She is the second coming of the Beatles, man. The Beatles were a phenomenon. She is a phenomenon. Don't be hating on somebody who's successful, people. So often we hate on people that are successful. And I don't care if Miss Jackie's the hottest band in Cincinnati. Don't be hating on her because she's worked hard to get there. Isn't that
10
right?
years. 10 years, man.
10 years.
10 years.
Which and Chase doing those leg stretches.
I'm almost on the old man, get off my lawn stage, okay?
You're not there yet. Trust me.
There was some kids walking and I was watching them.
Yeah, what do we got here real quick? Dewey says, Casey Musgraves artist putting out insane material in the country folk vibe right now. Yeah, there's great artists everywhere in every genre. And that's what we're here to talk about today. And that's what we wanted to talk about. Miss Jackie, you are wonderful. Thank you. I do have to say real quick, though, the views and opinions expressed in this program were those of the speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of our sponsors or any entities they represent, including our friends at Froggies, who are our sponsor, who dearly love you. And you're going to be there. Is it on April 5th?
Yes, I am. Next Friday. And we love a Friday at Froggies. I love it so much. I'm so excited. It's been 2 weeks, so I have all this bottled up energy, which is probably why I couldn't stop talking this whole
I'm gonna tell you a little secret too. If you know, you know. I'll be there on Friday too. So we'll see you on Friday. And that's going to be so much fun at Froggy's. Our sponsor every week of our Thursday show is called Who's Playing Out? It's the best musicians and venues in the tri-state. And Karis will be back next week. Maybe, if we let her. I've had so much fun with you. You just may stay. We'll just kick her out of here.
No, she scares me a little bit. She's a little intimidating. I'm not going to lie.
You think?
I love her so much.
That's why I sit in a studio away from her. Yeah. And you know, you did really well today. You didn't throw any F-bombs or anything. So,
oh my God.
Disappointed.
I was thinking about it. I did stammer a little bit because I almost did. But
thank you, Bill, for saying Miss Jacque was an excellent co-host. And Jacque, you started at 13. She said, "Listen to that. They're trying to warm you up."
4. I started singing at 4. I had my first solo in church of all places. If you've seen me twerk on stage,
I have. It rocks. You are a rock star, dear. That's all I got to say. I am so happy that you joined me today.
I'm very proud, you know.
Yes. And you know, the look that Chase has on his face sometimes when he looks over at you on stage is priceless. Yeah. He's like, what is she doing now? It's hilarious.
I'm so lucky we get to do it with each other, honestly. Like, yes. It could have never worked out, I feel like, with me being with somebody that's not in the band life, because that's all I want to talk about all the time. It's like, well, what if we did this song, but we did it like this? You know what I mean? So
I like it. Thanks for being here today.
You're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Stay with me for a minute here. We're going to get out of here, folks. Thanks for watching. We're here tomorrow at noon with the Naked Karate Girls. Go behind the scene with what makes that machine tick. And we're going to have you right here tomorrow at noon on that one. If you can't watch at noon, watch it after the fact on our page at All Around Town Radio on Facebook or YouTube. Miss Jacque, thank you. We'll see you next time, everybody. Bye-bye for now. Here's Sweet Sister Mercy. Mike Roberts, thank you.
Seriously.
Yeah. Thanks, Dewey.
And I want to see a show.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Flip on the book of face.
Thanks, Jimmy, too.
I know where to go.
I can't believe Sister Mercy, Sweet Sister Mercy made you a freaking song.
Isn't that great?
So great, man.
An all around fun theme song. And Rob Nadler did it in the studio. It's great. It is. It's fantastic. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.